What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes. And in this video I'm going to be giving you guys my first impression and the stat speculation of the new Christmas units that we're going to be getting. So we did have the leaks of course, so most people do know it if they watched my previous video. So we have Christmas Mirabilis here as a flying blue dagger dancer. So flying blue daggers are pretty rare. In fact, Mirabilis is the second one after Petra, who was released 2 years ago. She's still a dancer with that preferred dance of hers, Whimsical Dream, which can basically create a 10-point stat differential between the attack of your unit and the opponent by giving you debuffs and debuffing them. So it's honestly a really good dance, and you've seen this a lot in Aether Raids defense of course, but this Christmas Mirabilis can be blessed for the other season, so you can now actually use this kind of Mirabilis on offense or even in the dark season. So she's got Dream Flake as her dagger, which gives her +3 resistance, and if there's any kind of negative status effect or penalty active on any foe within 3 rows or 3 columns centered on Mirabilis, then she can inflict -5 attack debuff on them during the combat. So this kind of support is really good if you're trying to trigger Heavy Blade or if you're just going to be using some kind of tank. So that kind of attack debuff is going to be helping you tremendously, especially with the attack debuff of Whimsical Dream and the buff of attack that it gives. So it does have pretty good synergy, but she's not the kind of dancer that is going to be on the level of Duo Peony in my opinion or something like that. She's still a pretty nice supportive dancer, don't get me wrong, and this kind of weapon does have its pros and cons. It is going to be pretty good in the hands of the player because you can use this dagger to, snipe units or just break the structures and stuff like that. But in the AI's hands, in something like Aether Raids defense, it is a lot easier to bait out, Christmas Mirabilis than the original version of Mirabilis, because this Mirabilis is ranged, and as you have seen before, stuff like Triandra can easily be forced into attacking, and dancers have this 5 damage rule where if they do 5 or more damage, they will actually attack instead of dancing. So that could happen to ranged dancers a lot often because of their range compared to melee dancers like Dancer Eldigan or Mirabilis. So overall, that's going to be Christmas Mirabilis. She does have Bracing Stance 3, Speed Cantrip, and Ground Orders. Ground Orders is probably the most fought off skill to any kind of Mirabilis in my opinion for Aether Raids defense, so she already comes with that, which I find it funny. Bracing Stance is also nice because you could get it from Spark. Previously, this was only available on Mila. So let's go for her stats. I think that she's going to be having pretty similar stat spread to the original version of Mirabilis, but of course she's going to be having more BST. So she could have 168 BST with most of the points going into her bulk, and then that could allow her to run maybe sabotage skills and stuff like that. Her attack is going to be decent, I guess, for a dancer. Nothing too impressive, but not really too low either. So that's pretty much what I'm expecting out of her, and she's going to be slow for sure. And then we've got Christmas Artur, and he is a green mage armor unit. So we have gotten Valentine Alphonse, who was a 4-star focus earlier this year, and we also have Ascended Fjorm as a spark unit who can function really well as a far-safe tank. I find this really cute that Artur is protecting loot from this kind of archer. So in any case, he's going to be a 5-star lock premium seasonal unit, which means that he's really hard to plus and merge compared to even Ascended Fjorm or like Valentine Alphonse, who are easier to get. So it is going to be a bit hard to see him at higher investments, and that's pretty much where he's going to be facing the competition as a green armor unit who wants to run far save. He has got Snow Globe Plus, which is an inheritable green tome, which has got attack res Unity built into it. And the thing about Unity skills is that they stack up with other Unity skills in the slot A. So I know many people are going to be asking me this, and the example to this, we already have it for years now with Fallen Ike. So Fallen Ike has got Spectrum Unity built into his weapon, and he can just run Unity skills on his slot A like Attack Speed Unity or Attack Resistance Unity, and that will stack up with his weapon. Recently, we also got Legendary Marth, and that is one of the reasons why Attack Speed Unity is pretty much his best slot A skill. So if you run this kind of weapon, then you can also run the Unity skill and get even more stats, and then amplify the stats that you get from the debuff. So you can get crazy high stats if you just stack up the Unity skills in the right game modes. Mainly in Aether Raids where, debuffs are going to be pretty common with the dances of Triandra, Mirabilis, and, shrines and all of the things. So yeah, Unity skills do stack up with these inheritable weapons, and in my opinion, this is a really nice, solid inheritable weapon. If you want to have this on some kind of merge project, this could definitely be a pretty solid one. But still, I think that Plagian Torch is a bit better because it does provide you with the attack debuffs, so you can get more bulky with your unit in both of these stats essentially. So Artur has got Iceberg, Odd Follow-Up, and Defense Resistance Far Save, which is a really solid skill. With a Far Save unit or save units in general, attack does matter, but I think that survival matters a lot more. Of course, you don't want to leave your opponents alive, but you of course don't want to die because then your team will just fall off as your savior unit dies. So this kind of far save skill is super good, and it's a lot better than, you know, something like defense resistance near save, which was the first near save skill because you're only going to be fighting dragons. But with this, you have to fight dagger units, bow units, and stuff like that, which are a lot more common than dragons in my opinion. So this is a really solid far save skill, which is sparkable again. So that could be a really incentivizing thing for many people. And as for his stats, I think that he's going to be having higher resistance than defense, and he's going to be having really low speed. He's going to be having good attacks, so that is going to be helping him. And his defense is also quite workable for a far save tank. So we do see this iceberg damage, and I've basically used that to calculate his entire stat spread. He's of course going to be having more BST than Valentine Alphonse because he's a Gen 6 unit. The next unit that we have is going to be Winter Manuela, who is a 4-star focus unit of this banner. She is a sword armor unit, and she's pretty much like the Winter Hilda of this banner, like Winter Hilda was for the last year, in the sense that you can, you know, plus and merge her because of being a 4-star focus unit, and she provides you with arena scoring, so that is going to be pretty nice. And the fact that she can be a speedy armor unit, Winter Hilda can also do that, and Manuela here, as you'll see, is going to be pretty fast, if you cannot tell by her slot A skill alone. So here she has got Winter Rapier Plus, which is basically the same weapon as Artur, but it has got attack defense unity built into it. And this is a super good slot A skill because you can either double down with another unity skill, like maybe attack speed unity, and basically cover like 3 stats. But you can also run stuff like close defense 4 in slot A, which can deny opponents buffs, or just simply run skills that can increase your attack. She's got Ignatz, attack speed form 3, and special fighter. So special fighter is definitely pretty good on units like Brave Hector, for example, who just like to retaliate back with the special, and there are many units who can make use of that kind of build. But I feel like generally speaking, special fighter's value has gone down a bit after the release of Steady Breath Sacred Seal. Because you can basically run Crafty Fighter, get the guard effect, get the guaranteed follow-up, and then get the special acceleration from Steady Breath. So the auto follow-up from Crafty Fighter can often help you in this kind of metagame where units are extremely fast. So Special Fighter is really useful. I'm happy that it's available, but a lot of times units can run, you know, slightly better builds by running Crafty Fighter and Steady Breath. Like Black Luna special from Zelgius and Black Knight is extremely strong. Many people did run Special Fighter, but I've seen many, you know, specialists of Black Knight and Zelgius switch over to Crafty Fighter build or Slick Fighter build along with Steady Breath Sacred Seal. So that's pretty much what I think. Still a really good skill here that we've got. For her stats, we do see her trigger this Ignatz, so we can easily calculate her defense, and I think that she's going to be pretty fast, like I said before, Winter Hilda of this year. So she's going to be having 190 BST essentially after the first merge, and that makes her a really solid merge project for arena scoring. Of course, there are going to be obstacles of using this kind of unit in arena because of the mobility, and also because she's got the armor effective damage that she can take. But Winter Manuela can definitely function as a pretty nice near save tank in my opinion. She's really fast, so that could help you in some matchups like against Brave Alm, who really depends on his speed stat to get the fire sweep effect from his weapon. So Manuela can, you know, technically just stack up enough speed to not get doubled by Brave Alm, for example, and still beat him, which is not the case for most of the save tanks. Like Arden, in my opinion, is going to be always better, you know, near save tank than Manuela ever be, because he just has amazing guard weapon and the dual phase brave weapon, and he can just hit really hard. But Manuela still has that niche of being the fast, you know, near save armor unit that she can be. So she does have her usage, but overall, you know, Arden is still going to be the king of free-to-play near-save units, in my opinion. So she's going to be having 43 speed, I feel like, and definitely pretty nice defense, good attack, and also workable resistance. Pretty hard to mess up these kinds of armor units, I guess, but she doesn't have the highest HP for an armor unit, in my opinion. 42 HP is not the highest. So that is Manuela, and then we have got the star of this banner, Winter Lysithea. We do know her stats from the trailer itself, and she is going to be having a pretty interesting weapon. So she's a harmonic unit, providing you the utility in Resonant Battles whenever 3 houses or Sacred Stones are the bonus titles. In my opinion, pulling just for Resonant Battles is not going to be worth it, especially for this kind of sparkable banner, because you would think that having that kind of unit getting sparked is going to be helping you, but the thing is that many other people are going to be sparking it as well. So what happens is that the inflation of the ranking just becomes really high in those bonus weeks. We see that time and time again in Radiant Dawn and Path of Radiance bonus weeks, where Winter Lysithea is the unit that a lot of people use because last year people sparked her. So a lot of people have her, and when you reach that kind of inflation, merges start to matter in Resonant Battles at that point if you want to stay in Interval 21. So again, I never really think that it's worth pulling just for Resonant Battles, but for the unit itself, if they provide you with some value, and Lysithea in my opinion definitely provides you with that value. She is a colorless Mage Cavalier, which is definitely going to be pretty unique, and she's also really strong. So she's got Sweet Yule Log, which gives you -1 special cooldown, so she can have Moonbow at 1 cooldown. This weapon requires you to be above 25% HP to get +6 attack and speed, and in the player phase, Lysithea is going to be comparing her own speed stat with the opponent. So if the difference is 9 or below, then she can get the Desperation effect, but if the difference between their speed stat is 10 or more, then she can get the Brave effect. So she's a conditional Brave weapon user, so against many of these slower tanks, she's guaranteed going to be getting that Brave effect. But the problem lies when she's going to be facing incredibly fast opponents, which are not going to be able to even be outsped by Lysithea, which is going to be kind of rare, but still it can happen in today's speed-oriented metagame in my opinion. So there she will not be getting the Brave effect, and because they are so fast, the opponents, Lysithea is also not going to be able to make use of the Desperation effect because she's not going to be able to naturally double. So that is the rare scenario where her weapon could bite her back, but in most of the other scenarios, she's going to be a really strong unit in general. So she doesn't really get the true damage like Ninja Korin can get, but she has got -1 special cooldown, which can definitely give you more damage output with Ruptured Sky, Moonbow, Glimmer, stuff like that. But at the same time, many tanks do have the guard effects with Special Fighter, stand skills and stuff like that, so that could stop your, special going off on the Brave hit. So that's something that you have to consider, but Lysithea is still a very strong unit, incredibly strong because of being a colorless unit, and the fact that she's got really high attack stat and definitely has the speed to work with this kind of weapon, which basically in a sense can give her the second attack. Ideally, you want to get the Brave effect because the Desperation effect is going to be getting stopped by follow-up negation effects of the opponents who are faster and still have those effects. So ideally, again, you want to get that nice Brave effect to nuke the opponents. And she's got Moonbow, Swiss Sparrow, Fortress skill, which is a bit odd to me because I feel like lull speed resistance is probably going to be a lot more optimal for her. Trace skill can work for the mobility, but again, the lull skill does so much for her when her weapon depends so much on the speed stat and getting the 10-point stat differential between Lysithea and the opponent. And then she's got Colorless Feud. So this skill is going to be a lot more, better than Red Feud, which we got on Flavia. The reason being is that there are a lot of colorless support units like Flane, Summer Hilda, and also Kinshi Hinoka. Kinshi Hinoka is mainly used with like save balls where she's put in front to just apply her rain effect and also just provide some extra stats to the save units. So if you run, Colorless Feud, it basically means that, Colorless Feud basically means that any kind of colorless unit that you face is not going to be getting any kind of external support from a unit outside of the combat. Like if you're facing a Fallen Edelgard and she's being supported by a Muspel, then she's not going to be getting the support of Muspel because Fallen Edelgard herself is colorless. And then Colorless Feud also applies this kind of effect on the support units who are colorless. So again, an example to explain that effect, if you're facing a Brave Hector who's being supported by Flane, if you have Colorless Feud, then that Flane's damage reduction is not going to get applied to the enemy Brave Hector, which means that you can just attack them, and that is going to be really helpful in Aether Raids defense because Flane is a really commonly used unit, so Colorless Feud basically can hurt her. There's also Fallen Edelgard and some more colorless threats, which, this can apply to even Lysithea herself actually because of this. So definitely an interesting skill, and here we can see her stats, and we also see her harmonized skill. This skill is definitely a lot worse than Ninja Korin in my opinion, because Ninja Korin's duo skill can work anytime. It doesn't work on only like specific units, it just works on herself and it provides her with the dance, which is incredibly useful for retreating or killing another enemy. This Harmonize skill basically gives you the visible +6 attack, the Resonant Blades effect, and the bonus doubler effect to the Sacred Stones and 3 Houses units. And there are really a lot of 3 Houses units that can appreciate this kind of effect and just get more powerful for sure. But still, I like the duo skill of Ninja Korin a lot more, and that duo skill allows her to score really well in Arena as well with 195 BST. So I think that we're going to be seeing Ninja Korin a lot more in something like Arena, but then we're going to be seeing Winter Lysithea a lot more in Aether Raids defense, because people are going to be sparking her, so it's a fair assumption that she is going to be more common than Ninja Korin because of the spark mechanic, which will allow players to get the guaranteed summon on Lysithea after 40 summons. So here she just takes out this Bow Cavalier. So her main stats are just going to be attack and speed basically. Speed is definitely a lot more important here. Attack is also important for getting those KOs. And then here we see Ignatz. So it's a fair assumption again that he is going to be an armor unit. Usually all of the Christmas free-to-play units that we've gotten have been armor unit. So here Winter Ignatz has got Tannin Bow Plus, which is basically the same weapon as Manuela, providing you with the attack defense unity. Kind of wish that he got like speed defense unity. I think that would have been really awesome, but still this is a pretty nice weapon. And then he has got rally attack speed and speed defense form and defense tactics. So overall, not the most useful skills. Rally attack speed, in my opinion, is probably the most useful one to basically go into more advanced inheritance. Like if you inherit this to a unit and then use a unit who has got rally attack speed plus and some other tier 4 skill, then that could be used to just inherit that rare skill along with a plus version of this rally skill. So it definitely helps you. So the skill was definitely missing from the Grail pool, so I'm really happy that it is here. Speed defense form is, decent skill for, mixed phase if you want to do that kind of thing, but still there are better skills in my opinion. And I feel like Winter Ignatz is going to be pretty similar to Winter Felix, being a speedy armor, and he's going to be having decent attack stat. I don't think he's going to be having the highest attack stat because he's Ignatz, and he's going to be having pretty nice defense, I feel like, and workable resistance. Overall, he's going to be like a colorless version of Winter Felix who has got slightly less attack. That's pretty much how I see him being as a free-to-play unit, so we're going to be seeing that in a couple of days. This is of course my speculation. The skills are actually the real deal, but just I felt like also posting this speculation in this video. So let me know what you think about this banner in the comments. In my opinion, this banner is probably not going to be as influential as last year's banner. We got Odd Recovery, Winter Altina, and Winter Bernadetta, which were all really meta influential in their own ways. I could make another video on that, but in general this banner is not going to be that influential, so I think you should definitely consider your other options because this banner lasts for an entire month. So you can basically wait and see what kind of legendary banner that we get, what kind of New Year banner that we get, and what kind of banner we get at start of January. So all of that could be done unless you have a really favorite unit who you just want to get. In that case, the spark mechanic is definitely going to be helpful. And in general, seasonal banners don't have sparks, so the fact that this one has got one is going to be really incentivizing who just want to collect their favorite unit and just be happy with them. So I'm really happy that they're continuing the spark. I hope that the rerun of last year's winter banner also has sparks. I would personally like that because I'm trying to get Winter Bernadetta. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, then make sure to leave a like and a comment, helps me tremendously. And if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks or by becoming a YouTube member. And for more Fate analysis videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as a colorless unit's support against colorless Feud. So that's it, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.